Let's move on to the USSR. Let's start off with the title child, the MIG-27M. This is a ground attacker based on the MiG-23. As you can see, they are very similar, but the MiG-27M brings a few new things to the table. And in fact, a whole new mechanic to the table. Guided bombs. Laser guided bombs. Yeah, we're going there.
Kind of be.
You also have some other ordnance. I'm actually going to go straight into the ordnance so we can check it out. Let's go into Reddit mode. There we go. There is a whole host of stuff that you can bring out. R60x Missiles, as you can do on the MiG-23 as well as the R13M1s. These are a bit longer range. Decent. I still prefer the R60s though, to be honest. You have a fair few amount of bombs. By the way, very important here, distinction. The FAB are still dumb bombs. They are not guided. What you're looking for is the KAB. These are the guided bombs. And you can carry up to a total of 4 of them. If I can actually quickly find them. Where are they? Or can you? Ah, there they are. Ah, yeah, there we go. You can carry a total of 4 of them. Now, these bombs have some new mechanics. So let's go into test drive real quick. And I can show how it works, or at least attempt to.
Yeah. And
this is all live.
Currently in the tree, it comes after the Yak-28. That might change, of course. I mean, it's just the preliminary. But right now, that's where it is. If you'd like to just have a brief look.
To be fair, it makes sense. It is in the ground attacker line. That works out pretty well.
Yep.
So if you're looking for getting the MiG-27, you might want to go through the Yak-28.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to be taking off now. Let's see if I can actually make this on the first try.
Yes.
It's going to be an interesting moment here. All right, I need to get some altitude and some distance to the ground targets first. These bombs have pretty much a very similar sight to the AGM-65s. Of course, these are bombs. These are not propelled. These just drop and try and glide towards the target. These are not like the AGM-65Bs, which have a rocket propellant and try and accelerate towards the target. But they still work very similarly. Now, bombs, of course, you are going to have a longer range the higher you are and the faster you are. So you can technically drop these from 10 kilometers altitude at Mach 1, and you can get a pretty long range on these bombs. And whilst it usually wouldn't be a good thing for bombs because you lose accuracy, since these are self-guiding, you can do some decent stuff. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see if I can hit that SPAA. We'll see.
I have faith.
You believe too much in me.
Oh, by the way, eyes on you, Chief.
I just want to quickly mention.
I can even hear it through your headphone.
That was a bit loud. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a 30mm Gatling gun.
Yeah.
It is very nice.
And it's really good as well against armored vehicles, like deceptively powerful.
All right, the bomb is locked. Let's see if I'm going to drop it. Bomb is. I may have just.
I think you just like knocked it with your
wing. I think I did. Is it going to correct itself? No, it lost the lock. So, actually, hold on. It's trying to. It's trying to.
It's actually.
Is it going to do it?
It's running on a dream right now.
It's spinning out. It's spinning out. It doesn't have the energy anymore.
Hard for a
it was trying so hard. So yeah, note to self: don't hit your own bombs with your aircraft when you launch them. It kind of affects the accuracy negatively.
It was really trying there as well, despite the circumstances.
I'm surprised they actually required the lock there. It was amazing. Yeah. Okay, we're going to try this again. This time, hopefully, without running into my own bomb.
We can all aspire to be like that one. Working for adversity and trying our best.
This, of course, much like the MiG-23, is a swing-wing aircraft. You have the automatic controls, and you can also switch over to semi-auto if you want to have a bit more control over where your stuff goes. Let's lock onto the SPA again. Okay, we are locked. Bomb out. Don't crash into my own bomb this time, and let's follow it and see what happens. I'm actually not sure if the bomb will lose the lock or if the lock is automatically just held. I know we had some issues early on. They have been fixed by now. We'll see how it goes. Although this is looking pretty good, to be fair.
Okay.
Oh, hi!
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Now, do keep in mind, these are 500 kilogram bombs, so they have a decent blast radius, but not the most amazing. You have to keep that in mind. If you don't get a decent lock on the target, you're not going to have a great time. You can guide the bombs whilst in flight, but keep in mind that you are going to be vulnerable doing that. And, of course, if the target moves, these specific bombs don't really track a moving target. If you want to track a moving target, I have something else for you, which is going to be a new missile. Go quickly into the secondary weapons. Where is it? It is right here, the K29T. Now, you may have known the K29L. We had this on the MiG-23 as well. These are very, very, very big missiles.
They are pretty hefty.
Incredibly big. These ones are laser guided. There's also some new interface for the laser guided missiles I'm going to show you in a second. But the main star right now is the KH-29T.
Can we also briefly show the penetration of the 30?
I think we can. Let me just quickly check.
A couple of you have been asking.
65 millimeters. This is decent for ground attack. It's not the most amazing, but you can go through the sides of some APTs.
Yeah, side MCs, light vehicles, it completely shreds. And even from the front, just because of like the amount of rounds, they can rip through like the lighter areas as well, like turret rings and stuff. And I know the pattern in the test drive can get decimated from the front by that gun.
5,000 rounds per minute.
Hell yeah.
Just keep in mind, you only have 300 rounds. This is going to go immediately.
Yes.
Learn some trigger discipline. Yes. All right, now, the KH-29T. These are TV guided missiles, pretty much like the AGM-65Bs, the Mavericks. These are the Russian counterpart, just a lot bigger and scarier.
Yes.
Yeah.
How loud they have some heft.
They do be hefty, though.
They do kind of be.
They do be quite thick. Yeah. I do have to say, I kind of prefer these over the bombs. These are essentially big bombs, but since they have their own propellant, they reach a target a little bit faster. So let's go quickly into a test drive and show it off.
Yes.
All right, there we go. I can also show you the cockpits whilst we're at it. You have a little TV screen inside of it as well, which will indicate you where the bombs and rockets are trying to lock onto. I'm not sure if you can control the sight from within the cockpit in simulator mode. You might have to switch over to the proper designated sight. But it's a nice attention to detail, I have to say. This is a nice plane for the sim enthusiasts out there. So it has a teal.
It does. It's our favorite color.
I like it so much.
It's so good. Every time.
I really like this Russian cockpit interior color. It's just something about it is really soothing, I suppose.
It's really nice. It's a really nice color.
That's a decently high resolution TV as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can watch streams on that.
You could probably I wonder if you could mod that actually to like play something.
That would be kind of amazing actually.
Yeah, or just put like a green screen on it for some Reddit moment.
Oh, absolute Reddit moment. Absolute Reddit moment. There you go. Alright, I'm going to get a little bit of distance and I'm going to go for that medium tank this time. SPA are all nice and all, but they are quite easy to kill. I want to see if I can kill something a little bit harder this time. Let's switch. Nice! That's quite nice. I didn't hear that actually yet. Okay, we're going to look onto the tank. You can do this by pressing the spacebar. That's not it. Wrong lock. No, no. Where are you going?
You got this.
I don't think I got this. Hold on. I need to do another approach.
Reset the lock.
Keep in mind, nightly pre-dev server things are work in progress. There are things that are not quite well refined yet, but we're going to do another pass and see if it actually works this time. Oh yeah, by the way, this thing also gets flares. Still the same flare amount as the MiG-23. Not great, you only get 12 flare launches.
Those look great.
They do, yeah. There's actually a new updated effect of the flares. They look quite a bit nicer now. And I'm excited to see how they look like at night battles.
That's a good point, actually. I haven't seen that.
That might be quite interesting, actually. We have to explore later on, after the dev stream is over. Let's see. Alright, let's do another pass. I'm not sure what the maximum range of these missiles is. I'm going to go a bit off axis here. Let's see if we can lock on to the target. Come on.
It's gonna do it.
Keep in mind this is all optical, so there might be a certain range for it. Come on. I don't think it's wanting to cooperate with me right now, I'm afraid.
No.
We might have to see if we can do a little bit manually. This works. I'm not sure if this is close enough to the tank though. It is not quite, so yeah. Some things are still needing some things. I actually can do that, hold on. Now, this should have ballistic computer, yes it does. So we can do a gun strafe on that tank and see what happens. Might get is a little bit loud, sorry. There we go. That should be nice. Alright.
So what it does, I guess, from that angle against the
I'm not sure if I'm behind or in front of him, to be honest.
Woo! That did go through, though.
It did, and so did I, through the ground.
Yeah. Even so, I mean, that's pretty good. That's got some.
Oh man,
that's got some punch to it, despite only 65.
It's just an overwhelming fire rate. There's so many bullets going through. Holy crap!
It's
all right. I want to show you one last thing here, which is the new interface on the laser-guided missiles, like the KH-29L. I'm going to bring these out real quick. These are basically the same missile as the TV-guided ones, just with the laser guidance you can do yourself. And let's see if this is going to work in the test flight. Next up, by the way, we are going to be showing a new... I think it's a battleship for the Russians, isn't it? Yes. I have to say, it looks so good.
It's the nicest looking one we have.
It looks so good. That funnel. That funnel just...
It's like... I don't know. I weirdly think it reminds me, for whatever reason, of Howl's Moving Castle. I don't know why. It's just this really
I can see that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, like... I don't know if it's just me, but it's just... as soon as I see it, my brain was like, what does that remind me of? And it clicked.
No one can see it right now in the chat, but it's fine. They just have to anticipate what we're about to show.
Yes, very pretty. Very pretty.
Alright, so this is the new interface for laser-guided missiles. It's right through the cockpit glass, really. Cool. And you can look around this way. Again, this is mostly a thing for the sim enthusiasts out there. I have a feeling it's going to be quite useful there. And let's see if we can do a quick pass on that SPAA. Now keep in mind, laser-guided missiles are a bit different. They do not automatically track the target like TV-guided missiles do. So if the target is moving, you might have to pay some attention to that. We're going to see if we can get a lock. Yeah, launch is allowed. So I'm going to launch a missile.
Launch is allowed.
I'm going to see if I can lose the track. And yep, there we go. So you have to keep your nose still pointed in the general area of the vehicle. Otherwise, the missile will lose the track. These are not automatically guiding missiles like the TV version is. So let's go again. And this time I'm going to keep my nose in the direction of the vehicle. Switch over to this view again. Straighten out. See if I can lock. Launch is allowed. Missile is out. I'm going to keep my nose in that direction. As you can see, it is guiding itself towards the laser point. And boop. Direct hit.
Very cool.
Of course, this leaves you a little bit vulnerable. It is still better than before. You don't have to keep your nose straight towards the target like you had on the MiG-23. So you can do some evasive maneuvers. You have a little bit of wiggle room there with the laser designator. But you still have to be flying in the general direction of the enemy, which can be an issue when you're facing off against SPAA. Alright. And that's the MiG-27. Now, moving on to what... I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
I'm not going to either.
I think it's called Paris Commune.
Paris
Commune, something like that.
Okay, well, yeah, new Russian battleship at the top here, top echelon. I think aesthetically, it's the nicest battleship we have in game, at least from my perspective. I love the kind of raised portion here from the front. It's very, very pretty, and just the immensity of the towers that they have and the funnel. It just reminds me of Howl's Moving Castle. I don't know why. It really, really does. It really does. It's a very, very, very pretty ship. And in the Russian battleships as well are always pretty decent armor for what they are. And they have that incredible SAP round as well, which I'll show in a second, which is the same as the ones we already have in game. I will briefly show it. So here's a brief layout of the armor if you want to get a general gist. And the rounds as well. Over 50 kilograms in the SAP.
Those are some very big rounds.
300
millimeters.
Yeah.
Ow.
Indeed. Yeah, so obviously not a huge amount to say about it. It's quite similar functionally to the other variants in terms of like main armament. But it's very, very pretty, and that obviously counts as something, which I'm a fan of.
All right, let's move on to one of the vehicles that has been quite anticipated for this patch. Do you guys like the Object 906?
Yes.
I know I do. I love that thing. It's beautiful. We have the bigger cousin of it in the game coming up in direct hits. Welcome, please, the SPRUT SD. I have to be very careful to not try and spit on the screen whilst I pronounce the name of this thing.
Yep.
This is the 2S25, also known as the SPRUT SD. It takes a light tank hull and puts a big old MBT cannon in it. 125mm smoothbore, it can fire very much the same rounds as some of the T-72 variants. In fact, I'm going to show off the rounds right now. You start up with a HEAT-FS shell, 550mm penetration is not bad actually. And you can immediately get an APFS DS shell, the 3BM22, which is not the most amazing. It's alright. It's alright, but you're going to be struggling against some of the heavily armored vehicles. And you can go all the way up to the 3BM42, which is not bad at all.
Indeed.
I do quite like this shell. You can also fire ATGMs through the barrel, although these are not tandem ATGMs, so keep that in mind if you're firing against stuff that has ERA. Generally speaking, I would say with APF-SDS you are better served. You do get a laser rangefinder. You don't seem to get thermals right now, which I believe is actually accurate.
If you hover over that thermal, actually, so it gives you now the little...
oh, yeah.
I think that was one of our suggestions like last year.
I think it was, yeah.
In our document we made.
Interface, so there you go. You can now see where the NVDs are deployed. Gunner, tank commander, and driver view. Very nice. By the way, a little PSA here, in case this happens to stay the way it is. Don't forget these upgrades over here. You see a little slide over here. This thing has so many modifications, you kind of have to slide a little bit to the right so you get the best shell for it. Yeah, little pro tip. All right.
Pro tip.
Now, there is one major drawback to this vehicle, I'm afraid. Whilst it does have an autoloader, it does have quite a slow reload at the moment. This is a rather cramped turret for this kind of gun. So an auto-loading reload of 8.6 seconds isn't amazing. No. It is not amazing. All the MBTs you have at this tier fire much faster than that. You have to be a bit careful with when you engage, because you can't really get the second shot off very quickly. That said, you do have a very mobile platform. Sorry, I'm just leaking stuff. You do have a very mobile platform in this thing. Up to 70 kilometers per hour forwards as well as backwards. This is very much like the recently released BMD4. You can go very fast in both directions. Decent power to weight ratio, not the most amazing, but good enough to move around. And the chassis is in fact amphibian. You can bring it out into rivers, ford through them. Right now I wasn't able to actually steer inside of the river. But yeah, you can go pretty much anywhere your heart desires and use that MBT cannon. Of course, you do also have the scouting abilities, and the laser rangefinder is going to be quite useful if you want to do some HE memes, which is always quite fun.
The turret actually as well from the front. It's very like the angular design of the turret I really like in the front.
It does look pretty nice. It does look pretty sleek, yeah. Especially in this dark green.
Yeah,
it looks really, very nice.
It's a really nice scheme.
Now, I know you guys want to see some test drives, but we're saving that for a special thing, unless, maybe can we do it now?
Yeah.
I just want to show the gun sounds and how the general mobility of this is. So, we mentioned before we have a new test drive. No longer do you have to go on to the, I believe it was a Kursk map.
Yep.
We now have a entirely new map with different terrains, different elevations, different situations, and there we are. Now, you have finally some paved roads here, which, by the way, if you aren't aware, different road conditions do affect the way your tank moves, especially if you are in a wheeled vehicle. Paved roads are much better for you than mud. You have some targets over at various distances, all the way up to that, I think that's a Kampfpanzer at 1.2 kilometers almost. Boop! Laser rangefinder doing some work there. And listen to the sound of the machine gun now.
Nodding like I can hear it, but I just know it's good anyway.
I do quite like it.
Yeah,
I do quite like it.
I think it's they've added a lot more beef to the guns. There's a couple more that I want to show later, but yeah, they're really nice sounding. I feel like the light machine guns didn't really sound very mean. They sound mean, which they should, and they're light machine.
They sound like very angry typewriters.
Interesting analogy.
I'm also going to show you how it can traverse the river. There you go, as you can see, it is amphibious, so again, go straight through. Sadly, I can't steer right now, so we're just going to skip over. Okay, next up we have something for the UK.
But first, I'll briefly show something else, which is...
oh yeah, right, sorry, yes. I forgot about that.
T80BVM has got some additional protection on the side, same as the T72B3. Quite a simple thing to explain. But yeah, there's some differences here. A little bit more protection from the sides, which is nice. So this thing is pretty meaty now when it comes to protection, which is pretty nice. And it's here you can see all the different data on it. And if we take it away, you can see the stock look, which is pretty nice. So that's a brief change. And yes, now onto the British.
Before we do that, actually, quickly, I will just want to show you the position of the SPRUT SD in the tech tree. Right after the Object 685, you can get it at rank 7 to give you a bit of a decent light tank experience here at top tier. All right, moving on to the...